On to your next topic, you have types of organization. Under your types of organization, you have two types, that is formal and you have informal organization. Now, your formal organization is wherein it is a organization structure is available. Okay, it is basically top level, middle level and lower level, wherein everything is very organized and you have proper pattern of activities, process, managerial roles and responsibilities. Okay, your structure is effectively planned. Now, in a formal organization, the relationship between members of organization is very official. Okay, it is very official and it is very well structured. And also the flow of communication in the top, middle and low level management, it moves in a very organized manner. When it is moving in a very organized manner, okay, everything is moving in a very organized manner. And also, the rules and regulations are effectively framed by the top management well in advance, and whatever rules and regulations are framed by the top management have to be followed by the middle and lower level management. The meaning of formal organization is nothing but it refers to the structure of job position which clearly defined functions. Now, who belongs in top management, what is their job, what is their structure? Okay, it basically refers to what is the job structure of job, their position with clearly defined. Okay, it basically with clearly defined functions or relationship as prescribed by top management. This is the type of organization structure which is actually built by management to realize the enterprise, and it is bound by rules, regulation and system procedures. Okay, next is definition of formal organization. According to Chester Burnett, the organization is an organization is formal when the activities of two or more persons are consciously coordinated towards a common objective. How effectively and how consciously are coordinating between two or more people to achieve a common objective. This is a formal organization. Now, features of formal organization are basically the structure is laid down by top management to achieve the organization goals, and it prescribes the relationship amongst people who are working in the organization. The organization structure is consciously designed to enable the people of the organization to work together for accomplishing a common objective. Okay, the organization structure concentrates on jobs to be performed and not on individuals who are to perform jobs. It basically is concentrating on the jobs that have to be performed and not on the individuals who are performing the jobs. Okay, it is concentrating on the jobs which are available on whole. Now, in formal organization, individuals are fitted into jobs and positions and work as per managerial decisions. Thus, the formal relations in the organization arise from the pattern and responsibilities that are created by management. A formal organization is bound by rules, regulations, and procedures. In a formal organization, the position, authority, responsibility, and accountability of each level is clearly defined. Okay. Then next is organization structures based on division of labor specialization to achieve efficiency in the operations. Formal organization is deliberately impersonal. Okay, it is deliberately impersonal means it is very formal, it is not impersonal. Okay, you have to behave in a very formal and a structured way. Okay, you cannot behave in a very informal way. The next is basically the authority and responsibility relationship created by the organization structure are to be honored by everyone. Everyone has to be given equal importance, and the rules and regulations have to be followed, and every employee has to be motivated nicely. Next, you have advantages of formal organization. Now, advantages of formal organization are a formal organization is basically an organization which is bound by rules, regulations, and procedures. Okay, it basically ensures all the rules and regulations are followed, and each and every law and order is followed in the particular organization. Next, the organization structure enables the people of the organization to work together for accomplishing the common objective of the enterprise as a whole. The formal organization structure concentrates on the job to be performed, thereon makes everybody responsible towards whatever task is being assigned to them. Next, you have disadvantage of formal organization. The disadvantages are the formal organization will not consider the goals of individuals. Okay, basically, if I am working in a particular organization, I might have different goals and objectives, but wherein in a formal organization, they will not consider my individual goals. They will only see what is the job and what is the job that needs to be performed. Okay, it is only designed to achieve the organization goals only, not on individual goals. The formal organization is bound on rigid rules and regulations, very strict rules, regulations and procedures, and makes the achievement of goals very difficult. See, when you have strict rules and regulations, you will have to do that particular thing as per the whatever instructions are given. But what will happen is the employees are not given enough motivation and everything as such, which will bring down the morale of the employees. And if you are continuously being very very strict on the employees, it becomes very difficult for the employees to work in such an environment. Okay, so achievement of goals becomes difficult. The formal organization does not take into consideration the sentiments of organization member. It does not take into consideration your emotions. Sentiments are nothing but emotions of individuals. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of formal organization. Next, you have your types of formal organization. Again, very important. You have line organization, line and staff organization, functional organization, and matrix organization. Now, your line organization is basically one of the oldest forms of organization structure. It has modified into directly and indirectly. Now, you will have, this is the structure of your line organization, which is moving in hierarchy. First, on top, you'll have board of directors. Then you'll have managing director or general manager, which are again subdivided, okay, into marketing manager, production, and finance manager. Under marketing manager, you will have the authority. Under finance manager, you will have responsibility. Under production is again for subdivided into works manager, foreman, supervisor, and workman. All of this is the necessary structure as to how you are going in a line organization. Now, a line organization is basically how you are completely delegating authority and how each and every person is responsible for that particular activity. Now, there are various types of line organization, that is pure line, departmental line organization. Now, pure line organization, what is pure line organization? Pure line organization is nothing but it is activities at any level of the organization are same with employee performing same type of work, which will help you in facilitating control. For example, if 3 sales managers work under the command of marketing manager dealing with sales activity of the same product in different area, it is known as pure line organization. Basically, one sales manager will be there and there will be 3 people who will be working under him in order to delegate the activity. So this is known as pure line organization. Next, you have department line organization. Now, department line organization is nothing but how the whole unit, one particular unit, is divided into different departments for convenient for control purposes. Now, again, in this particular department, there will be several sub departments. For example, you have production department. Okay, now under production department, there will be number of foremen, that is employees, who are in charge of each sub department for controlling now under production you'll have packaging, you'll have packaging, you'll have segregating of raw materials and all of these things. So you are further subdividing under production also. Okay, so under production also you will have various activities and procedures as to how you will take necessary actions to delegate and take proper control over the activity. Now, you will have various characteristics of line organization. Now, in your characteristics of line organization, in line structure, authority will flow from top to lower. Again, your hierarchy structure, top, middle, and lower. Okay, it flows from top to low. Okay, then flow of responsibility starts from lower level to higher ones. Okay, whatever responsibilities are there, the lower level to higher one. Then there is direct reporting relationship. Okay, there is direct reporting relationship between the superior and subordinate. All managers work in line authority and in relationship of superior and subordinate are known as line managers. Now, the question will be asked as to who is a line manager. You will have to write this particular meaning. Okay, how a manager who works in line authority in relationship of superior and subordinate, he acts as a link between superior and subordinate, is known as a line manager. Now, line managers has a line authority. He performs line activities and functions and is directly responsible for achievement of the objectives of the organization. Now, line activities are those activities that are core activities which are essential for the achievement of organizational goals. Then the principle of unity of command is followed by designing the line structure. Okay. Now, next are the advantages of line organization. Now, these are again self-explanatory. It is simple to understand. The line organization structure is simple to understand because it is moving in hierarchy, that is top, middle, and low. Clear-cut division of authority. Operational cost of line structure is minimum. Line organization, high degree of flexibility is there. Then it is ground for training and development will be provided. Then structured decisions can be taken effectively by the managers. It deals it is an ideal form of the organization, okay, especially for a small sized enterprise. Then it facilitates communication by providing line and a command as a channel. Due to unity of command, discipline can be maintained amongst employees. Then limitations of line organization. Now, limitations of line organization is nothing but What are the drawbacks? Drawbacks is excess of work, duplication of work, okay, doesn't encourage and permit specialized services. Then again, line manager preoccupied with heavy workload. One of the major drawbacks is that it tilts towards bureaucratic form and ignores the human needs. Okay, it is only considering the rules and regulations. It is ignoring the human emotions. Okay, then it normally possesses knowledge for performing each and every activity. Then event of growth of development, difference between activity is not seen in the line organization. So this is with the types of line organization and types of line organization. Next is line and staff. Now the structure of line and staff is as follows. This is the hierarchical structure, very important again. Board of director, managing director, management accountant, finance manager, cost accountant. Now under this again you have various subdivisions. Now they do not have any relationship authority. Okay, the rationale behind the development of this form is to separate line activities which are basic and core in nature from the other supportive auxiliary activities. Okay, how they are separating each and every activity. Now meaning of line and staff organization. Meaning of line is nothing but how they are coming in order. Staff is nothing but how each and every individual is divided with work and how they are given work. Okay, line and staff organization is modification of line organization. Basically it is a modification of the earlier structure. Okay, now that is more complex. Line is more this is more complex than the line organization, and how you are appointing your staff superiors, everything will matter in this particular thing. The definition of line and staff is nothing but line refers to those positions and elements of the organization which have the responsibility and authority that and are accountable for the accomplishment of primary objectives. Stall elements are those which have responsibility and authority for providing advice and service, according to Lewis Allen. Next, you have your characteristics of line organization, line and staff organization. Now under your characteristics you have various things. That is, it is basically two types of relationship, that is line and staff. Okay, under your line and staff, then again authority is given to subordinate, and the managers work in line. Authority gives orders to subordinates. Basically whatever decisions are taken, they are giving orders to subordinates in order to achieve the organizational objective. Then staff specialist having specialized knowledge. Okay, basically respective areas, they help and guide and advise the line managers. Then line managers and staff specialists are not in relation with the superiors and subordinates. Okay, basically because it is beyond the authority and independence. Then line organization, the structure is also marked by unity of command. Now this is the types of staff. Earlier you studied line and staff. Now this is the type of staff. Under staff you will have general staff and special staff. Under special you will have advisory, control and service staff. Now general staff is basically all the people who are experts or serves as assistant and top management, and example like deputy chairman, and all of these will be in the general staff. The specialty staff is nothing but advisory staff, service staff and control staff. Okay, then you have advantage of line and staff organization. Advantage of line and staff organization is basically you will have specialists to advise on each and every matter. Then it will improve the quality of decisions. Then you will have related the line authority both in concentration of special and staff function like training, purchasing and public relation. Okay, then basically you will have greater flexibility, and you will also help besides taking advantage, you will have maintaining the principle of unity of command. Okay, next you will have disadvantage of line and staff. Disadvantage of line and staff is basically introducing, okay, basically it is nothing but how you are introducing the overall organization structure. Then you will have a lot of improper coordination, poor coordination. Then it will result in high cost. Okay, it seems to be very weak. Then structure difference, perceptions and staff manager, there will be no smooth functioning. The smooth functioning will not be there, and due to many reasons conflict will occur between line manager and staff specialist. Okay, next you have functional organization. Functional organization is basically how various people are allotted work and how they are divided work based on various activities and functions, and how they are under the type of organization, how they perform various functions. Okay, this is the structure of functional organization. Here you will have board of directors, managing director, vice president marketing. Okay, production marketing, how it is divided into various functions, that is marketing, HR, human resource, marketing, finance, everything. Then how product A, product B, again it is further subdivided. Then you have meaning of functional organization. The meaning of functional organization is refers to classical organization structure where employees are grouped hierarchically. Okay, employees are grouped in a hierarchy, and clear authority and reporting is done by the one top person. Now, there's a particular definition of functional organization. Your choice of referring the particular definition. Next, you have characteristics. Characteristics are basically here you are grouping various departments. Okay, you're organizing. You basically what you're doing is you're distributing organization into various departments to carry out the activities. Then you are two-headed by the manager, and each of every manager who's selected and appointed is basically having a specialist knowledge irrespective in which level they are performing, and also unity of command is for broken because of the subordinate. Okay, here earlier in the line organization as well as in line and staff there was unity of command. Here there is no unity of command. Each individual is given ultimate preference. Then you have various advantages as well as disadvantages. Advantages, you will have prompt decisions you can make. Okay, a wide scope for growth and mass production. Consistency and uniformity will be there. Then it will specialist in helping control of waste. Okay, you can avoid wastage of money, material and time. Okay, it helps in allowing changes in organization without disturbing the whole work. Every superior is an expert. Okay, this types of organization eliminates one man control. Okay, just like how it eliminated unity of command. Then you have disadvantage of functional organization. There is multiplicity of command. It becomes very difficult to coordinate. Okay, again functional structure is not effective because there is too much of specialization. Then unity of command is violated. Okay, then again divided law, then again it basically results in conflicting of situations. Okay, this is with your functional organization. Next is your matrix organization. Your matrix organization. Okay, matrix organization, the meaning of matrix organization is basically, okay, matrix organization is an organizational structure that facilitates horizontal flow of skills and information. It is used mainly in the management of large projects of product development process, drawing employees from different functional disciplines for assignment of team without removing them from the respective position. How you are going to keep the employees in their own positions, and how you are going to carry out all the activities to in order to achieve the objectives of the organization. Next, you have advantages of matrix organization. It resource coordination. If everything can be effectively coordinated with areas of expertise based on the different departments. Specialization, specialized knowledge in that particular field will be taken into consideration. Breadth of skill is nothing but each and every employee who has specialized knowledge and expertise knowledge will be taken. Communication, free flow of communication and effective communication will be there, as well as the flexibility as to make necessary changes as and when it is required. Disadvantages are basically because of the project team, many have divided loyalties between two line managers, then difficult to coordinate. Accountability for that thing, it becomes difficult. Takes time for a matrix member to work in this particular kind of structure. Team members may neglect their functional responsibilities. Okay, basically these are the disadvantages. Next, you have informal organization. Two types of organization, that is formal and informal. Now you'll be looking into your informal organization, which will go until here. Now, informal organization is basically wherein you do not have a proper organization structure. Here you have relationship between people and organization are based on personal attitude, emotions, prejudices, likes, dislikes, etc. Okay, your relation is based on these particular things. Now, according to the definition of C.I. Bernard, informal organization brings cohesiveness to formal organization. It brings to the members a formal organization, a feeling of belonging, status of. Here it is basically there are no strict rules and regulations. Everyone are given equal importance. Their emotions are taken into consideration and all of that. Okay. Now, features of informal organization is basically it is a natural process. It is not based on rules and regulations, as I told you all earlier. Okay, informal organization is not established by any formal authority. It is unplanned. It arises automatically, spontaneously on spot. It reflects human relationship. It is between the people and the organization. Basically, people take a lot of importance in an informal organization. Then people cut across formal channels. Okay, it is basically voluntary. Then it groups can overlap each other on a particular person by number of members of informal groups. People have an opportunity to form their own groups and activities to carry out their particular activities. Okay. Now, in basically here, the only problem is based on the language, taste, preferences. Okay, all of these activities are eliminated in informal organization. This is the characteristics. Now, what are the advantages of informal organization? Informal organization, the advantages are it encourages delegation, decentralization with the great support of the manager. For example, if a manager is weak in planning, his subordinates will assist him informally. Okay, not directly, but behind the back, they will help him and support him. Okay, it creates a relieving process from frustration because people are allowed to talk, people are allowed to form groups and all of that. So it relieves in frustration and tension. Then it will help in building good relation with subordinates. Okay, converting to certain norms. Okay, it will remove all the barriers, and also it will help in enhancing skills and talents. Whereas there are various disadvantages also, because here there'll be tendency to resist change. Okay, they will be used to that particular environment. The negative attitude, social control, and very often ill treated, they will become very comfortable, and they will lead to ill treatment of the employees. Okay, they will not give effective basically they will not give the credit to the employees. Then there's distinction between formal and informal organization. This is the meaning, formal and informal. Now, as per the meaning, formal is nothing but it is a structured, it is prescribed of rules and responsibilities. Here it is formed out of natural process, and here people associate to interact. Now, what is the aim? Aim is basically to achieve goal, productivity, profitability, and growth. Here it is basically satisfaction, affiliation, friendship, etc. What is the nature? It is hierarchy, pyramid shape. Here it is shapeless. There is no particular shape. Basis emphasis on status, differential, superior subordinate relationship. Here you're taking into consideration only friendship, common values, and interest. System of behavior is basically desired behavior only, and rewards are monetary and non-monetary. Here it is basically how you're motivating, social esteem, group leadership. All of these are the system of behavior.